get started. So this is the agenda for today. So I'm going to first cover the data approach that you're taking from AWS perspective. Then quick intro about Amazon RedShift. Then when you build a real-time analytics solution, you need to bring data in real time. So I'm going to cover how do you ingest your data in real time, and then you need tools and APIs, to make sense of those data. So how you can easily analyze the data that you're bringing in. So AWS has been innovating, for the last 17 plus years and counting. So how many of you guys use S3? S3 was launched more than 17 years back. How many of you guys use DynamoDB? Not many? Okay. So DynamoDB was the first, data purpose-built database that was launched by AWS, and then Amazon RedShift was the first fully managed data warehouse that was launched more than 10 years back. With that, the data warehouses doesn't have to be a monolithic platform that only ingests data from, let's say, from the ETL platform, like your OLTP databases and others. The modern data warehouses, allow you to bring your data from different sources, whether it is devices, sensors in real time, and make sense of the data in real time, and are providing predictive analytics directly in the database. That means you can run your machine learning model and use those predictions directly in the data warehouse without having to depend on an external system. It not only allows you to run queries in the data warehouse, but also allows you to query from other sources. Like for example, data lake, where like S3, wherever the data is stored. And this is like kind of a architectural diagram of how RedShift works. If you look on the left, all the different kind of data that you bring into the data warehouses. And data warehouses doesn't have to be a monolithic structure. You can share data across multiple data warehouses in real time. So if you see in the middle, that's where the data sharing architecture is. Like there are multiple clusters sharing the same data in real time. And then on the left, you see all how you can bring different data into RedShift or your data warehouse. And on the right, you see all the different tools and technologies you can make sense of all your data. You can not only use your existing tools and like Tableau or Power BI, but also you can use your, like for example, Spark applications to read and write data from RedShift. So we'll go a little bit more on that. So Amazon RedShift Serverless is a serverless version of Amazon RedShift, or that we had earlier as a cluster. So you have to manage your nodes, you have to manage the patching or maintenance window. You have to do a lot of work. So we automated everything. We released the GA version of Amazon RedShift more than a year back, and you have thousands of customers are now using it. On the left, you can see all the different customers, some of the reference customers they are using. But what I will do is basically, many people think RedShift is very difficult to start and use it. I'm going to use it. I wanted to do a real live demo, but don't have the time for switching. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to just show you a quick video of how to get started with the RedShift easily. Like just 2 minutes video. So if you see, you go to the console, just click on create a serverless instance. You don't have to enter anything. I'm just showing this. If you want to customize anything, you can customize. But if not, you just say save configuration, and it is going to provide you the data of the actual data warehouse. And then you just click on query data, And this is the query editor, modern query editor interface that we have provided. So you can just click on connect, and then let's say you want to use the federated connection from my IAM. You can just connect with the that user, and then we have sample data available. We can just click on a specific type of sample data, like TPCDSH or TiDB, for example, and I'll just click create. It will create the database, load the data within a minute or so.
All through catalog without code?
Sorry?
All through catalog without code?
Yeah. Yeah, and then if you see here, like you get a notebook interface to run, your queries. So you have notebook interface just for SQL. If you are a SQL developer, don't need to learn Jupyter or notebook or anything. Everything is integrated. When you provide visualization, you don't have to write matplotlib or any Python code. You can just click on visualization, and then select your visualization. And you can save this notebook. You can share this notebook with another friend.
May I quickly ask one small question?
Yeah.
We are talking about cloud database.
Yeah.
It means there are sensors, connectivity machine,
Yeah.
maybe industrial Internet of Things, their database, bridges, blah, blah, blah. Then gateway.
Yeah.
How close this, when you say real time, how close it to real time?
Yeah, I'm going to go there next, Yeah.
Okay, spoiler. Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so this is a, customer that we have. So I'm going to first go to the real-time injection and then come back to this slide. So there are two types of real-time. One is that if you are using a transactional database like Aurora, MySQL, for example. So what we do is that now you don't have to write any code. Okay? If you are in a MySQL database, in the MySQL console, you can go and say, I want to, create this connection to RedShift, and I want to automatically, seamlessly create these 5 tables or 20 tables in my OLTP database into RedShift. You can do this in almost near real time. Within few seconds, the data will be replicated in RedShift. So you can join, your data warehouse data and your real-time data and can run your queries directly. So I'm just going to go to the next slide, because basically this kind of gives you an idea. It's very, very easy to set up. You do not have to write any ETL code. Basically, you just go to configure in the console. Then you go to RedShift and tell that I want to create this integration database from Aurora integration, and that's it. And the tables will be available. You can run queries on there within few seconds.
People now thinking that I'm hidden Amazon guy who was asking right exact question for you to show this slide. Yeah, actually.
Okay. And what we do is that it is not, for example, we are basically looking at the change log in Aurora, let's say basically SQL, MySQL, Aurora MySQL, and replicating the data in the RedShift. So it is not like, for example, taking the data and reloading the data or using a copy command. So it is real-time streaming from your data, from your OLTP database to your data warehouse automatically. So that's one form if you have OLTP databases. But there are customers who have sensors, for example, as you asked, and they want to stream the data directly to RedShift and run queries from there. So we have integration with Kinesis and then Kafka. So what you can do is that you can connect that to RedShift, and all the data is streamed there into RedShift automatically, and then you can run queries on the stream as the data is landing into RedShift.
Sorry for maybe a stupid question.
Yeah.
Can Kafka be between local database in IoT and cloud database?
You can. Yeah, you can push the data into Kafka, and then Kafka. You can. Yeah. Yeah. So and we have again lots of customers are using this, and it's very easy to configure. It's not like requires again is the same zero ETL kind of principle. You go and create your data stream in Kinesis, then you create a materialized views on the top of the streaming, and then you can actually query that directly. So that external schema that basically points to the actual Kinesis or Kafka stream. And then you are just creating a materialized views on the top of that stream, and you're running queries against that. Yep.
This will take care of even edits and deletes? Or
Sorry?
edits and delete rows?
Yeah. So anything that you are doing in there, in the stream, is going to come here and you can run queries. Okay. Then third type of streaming kind of thing that we have is that think about that you have systems, but you do not have a stream like Kafka, or you do not have a OLTP database, but many, like I spoke to few utilities companies, for example, they stream their data to S3 directly, and what they want is that data they want to be loaded automatically to RedShift with basically, let's say, without any duplication, with basically exactly one semantics. So we have now something called auto copy that allows you to load data from S3 to RedShift automatically. So you generally use the copy command to load the data from S3. So what we do there is you just add a new parameter called job create this auto ingest or whatever, and from there on the data will be automatically loaded to RedShift. So there is a public preview for this feature. And it's going to be it will become generally available very soon. But it's right now anybody can test it. It's a public preview.
What is the typical latency of this?
Which one? It's about, like, it depends upon how much your job they have. If there are not a lot of copy files are coming, it will be in few seconds. But like some of the customers, for example, they are bringing in, like in the preview that we have been working with, they are bringing some tens of thousands of files within few hours. And then they are trying to eliminate. They have built their all ETL systems. They will basically able to eliminate that complete ETL system.
Question: are you is knowing coding required to use this stuff, or
Sorry?
Do you have to know coding in order to be able to use this?
A little bit of, like, for example, so I can show you after this, all these features, whatever you have, also we have in the query editor, we have wizards. So you do not have to know code.
I was wondering if you could use natural language also, because I know this is a big thing right now.
Yeah, you probably, that will be the future evolution, you can say.
You have it already. You have Amazon you have
AWS Glue, for example, Glue has natural language. So you can,
SQL, right?
If you can write in English, and it is going to generate Spark code for you, and then you can access. You have that. Okay. Then the other feature that we have is data sharing. I briefly told about. So, for example, you have multiple clusters, okay, and you want to share your data across different. Like, for example, you have an ETL system, which is your EDW or enterprise data warehouses, and there are different departments. They have their own small data marts, and you want to share some data from the enterprise data warehouses, so that the data is being used by the data mart, but in the data mart they have their own tables, and you want to join this without having to reload the data from the enterprise data warehouses to each of these hundreds of data warehouses. You can do this with data sharing, and the data sharing is real time. It is not like, for example, and it's a read-only data sharing, but it's real time. That means it's based on, actually we have something called RedShift managed storage, which is an abstraction on the top of S3, but that allows you to, like, for example, if a table in the ETL table you added in, like, for example, a new table, or you you added more data into the new table, that data is automatically available to the consumers automatically. And yeah.
Sorry for one question. Do you know the name? You have AI for building business intelligence dashboards.
Yeah,
The
yeah,
technology.
yeah. We have that's called Quick Site Q.
And
that you
they
can,
have language to SQL process.
Yeah,
This
you
is
can.
what I wanted to say when you were talking.
yeah.
So you kind of
Yeah, I'm going to go to the next. Whenever we have more things coming
It's
in. That,
forecasting the slide future.
all right.
You have to hire me for this presentation,
So, like as an organization, you can not only share within the organization, but we have something called AWS Data Exchange. So, for example, if you have data, COVID data, for example, or marketing data, and you want to sell that to your other consumers, so you can actually share that through Amazon, all the data in Amazon RedShift through the AWS Data Exchange. So other consumers can basically buy and subscribe to your data, and actual billing is taken care by AWS Data Exchange. So you can sell your data through the AWS Data Exchange. All right. So this is again, like I'm going to skip this. The customer. So many customers ask, for example, whether you support the latest, all the data lake formats, So we now support, Apache Iceberg tables. So if you are using Iceberg tables in another platform and you want to run queries against that from RedShift, you can do that with RedShift. So besides that, we also support Delta Lake and Woody, All right, and we also, like for example, like I don't know how many of you guys use AWS platform, but AWS has a product called Glue, AWS Glue Catalog. So all the different analytics services, they use this for their catalog purpose. Like for example, if you have Athena or EMR or SageMaker, if you are using any kind of open source tables that get registered into that catalog, and then you can consume from there. So what now you can do is that the AWS Glue catalog gets automatically mounted in RedShift. So if you are populating the Glue catalog from another service, like EMR writing some tables in there, then those tables are also automatically available to RedShift, and you can run queries directly without having to create an external schema. All right. So I showed you a little bit of the query editor. The query editor is a modern tool that provides not only the query interface, but also the notebook interface. So you can actually create your visualization right there within, and then can share it with your partners. You can export it. And if you want to, like for example, let's say you are a builder and you want to share your notebooks with your tenants, we provide also ability to export those as that IPython format and then import it another tenancy, so that a lot of customers are using that.
So what were the options of exporting, you said?
You can export the whole notebook, you can export a query, you can export a chart. Yeah. All right. And there is another feature that is pretty popular, is like we call RedShift ML. What it allows you to train your model using SQL. Assume that you have use cases for revenue forecasting, or if you want to have, let's say for example, anybody is churning, you want to do a customer churn detection for your from your subscriber or members. You can actually do that kind of use cases directly within RedShift without having to write Python code or use SageMaker or any other tool. So you can actually run a create model command. You can just do a create model and you give the training data as a query or a table, and then you can tell, okay, this is what I want to predict, like a specific column, and RedShift automatically uses SageMaker on the behind to pre-process your data. So if there is a null, for example, you have to refill it. If it's a categorized, a categorical column, then it can normalize it. So all those things are done automatically. The model is trained, it will do multiple experiments. So if you have not specified like for example, the problem type as classification or regression or forecast, then it will automatically run experiments and will find the best model. And then after the model is trained, it compiles the model and deploys the model inside RedShift, and the model prediction function is available as an UDF. So your users can run your queries directly for predictions using SQL. And this is a pretty popular feature. We have more than 80 billion predictions that are done using RedShift ML. And there is one customer called Job Case. They publish their success story in a blog. So they were depending on an external machine learning platform. They were taking about 8 hours every day to export their data, run their predictions in that machine learning platform, and then import it back into RedShift so that users can get the prediction data. And now they do their 1 billion predictions in less than 8 minutes. And one good thing is that when you do RedShift ML, you just pay for your training. And you use your actual compute in your data warehouse for predictions. So there is no extra charge that you have to pay for using RedShift ML for predictions. And as you know, training cost is only like 5% and 95% you pay for predictions.
Does it tell you if the data you have is sufficient for the prediction or not, or if there's any bias?
Yeah, yeah. So you can find the explainability, you can see MSVs, all those things in there. And then we also have other features is that if you already train your model in SageMaker and you want to bring into RedShift for either local predictions or remote predictions, you can do that too. And we recently integrated with for Amazon forecast, so you can do forecast, any kind of revenue-based, time-based, forecasting.
How recent are these stuff?
Sorry?
How recent are these?
This is about 1.5 years now. Yeah. All right. So then for developers, we have an API called Data API, and this is a pretty popular API. We have more than 10,000 customers who are using this API, and this kind of abstract the complexity of JDBC, ODBC. So when you use this API, many customers, like for example, Roche published a blog. They are using Google Sheets to access data in RedShift, and they are using Data API. So this allows you to write even code in JavaScript without having to deal with closing or opening database connections. So you abstract all the complexity. So and then like all the 6 languages supported by AWS SDK is supported with this API. So whether you use Java or Python or Go, or .NET, you can use this API. And this is also integrated with Lambda, Step Function, and Event Bridge. And when I look at the top, 20 customers, every week it changes, and out of the top 20 customers, 15 are the startups. And they're making millions of queries every day. And I can't tell the name of the companies. Out of the top 5 companies, 3 are payment processing companies. So it is like very popular among those companies because it kind of abstract the complexity of writing your code. Again, like what I'll do is that I have recorded a demo that kind of shows, like I talked about, bringing data from a real-time source, and then running predictions on that data. So let me just start. So this is, Amazon Kinesis screen, where basically you're creating a stream, of data. And here basically I'm not using a sensor data or anything. So you're using a, Lambda script to generate the data, Lambda function to generate the data. So and as soon as the data is basically started streaming, we'll see how you can use it. So this is again a notebook inside the query editor. So what I'm going to do first is create an external schema. So pointing to the kinesis stream, and then what I'll do is that, if you see basically how many number of tables are there. So if you see this, all the different streams are already available as tables. Then what I'll do is that I will create a materialized views on the top of that stream. So if you see that, that cost payment, and then that's transaction stream that I am getting, and then once I do that, I am going to run queries on the top of that. And in this code, basically, I'm just refreshing the materialized views, but you have automatic refresh, so you do not have to do manual refresh. So once you do that, that data is available for you to run queries. So basically, if you see that, I am running data queries directly against this stream now, and that's the payload. You see all the different transactions are coming in. The next step is that on that specific stream, I can use a machine learning model, for fraud detection. So if you see this, basically I created a view there, for fraud detection on that specific materialized views, and then I'm going to use a machine learning model on the top of that. So and then see here that basically that function is nothing but a prediction function. So and then when you run this, it automatically checks from that query and then tell you, okay, this is a fraudulent transactions or not, which is your fraudulent transactions. So you can do everything with SQL without having to write any other code, With that, so that was a small demo. Okay, then.
A quick question.
Yep.
For a user point of view,
Yes.
Amazon have multiple analytics databases, including Athena and now the RedShift service. So if I'm the customers, what's the recommendation if I want to use a service analytical database, Athena or RedShift?
Yeah. So if you want to just do ad hoc analysis, that means you have a set of files sitting in S3, and I want to run queries against that.
So then you use Athena.
Then you use it.
Okay.
But if you want to do summarization, any kind of summarization, aggregation, store this for long-term period, or you want to join this data also with your data in the data lake, like sitting in S3, then you use RedShift.
Okay, I see. So RedShift service is on top of S3 or not? Something else?
Yeah, S3. Yeah.
S3. Okay.
Yeah, S3. We have something called RedShift Managed Storage, which is the abstraction on the top of S3.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right. And then for the Spark fans, we have RedShift, integration for Spark. So you can use this, Spark connector, whether it is Databricks or if you are using EMR or any other open source platform, you can use, the Spark connector, and we open sourced this Spark connector, and this is an example of how you can write simple Spark code. So again, like for example, not only this feature matters, but probably all the features to secure the data also matters a lot. And you get all the built-in security features from single sign-on integration to row-level security, dynamic data masking, everything in RedShift without paying any cost. So there is no different options in RedShift. So if you use RedShift in serverless or clusters, you get all features. There is no additional cost. So if you want to use dynamic data masking, you get it. There is no security additional cost. Or if you want to use row-level security, you get it. Or if you want to use to integrate with your Azure AD, we can do that. So all these features are available for you free. And if you want a centralized governance, for example, then Lake Formation can manage the multiple data sets and the data lakes also in RedShift, and it is fully compliant, SOC, PCI, FedRAMP, HIPAA, if you are running in GovCloud or any kind of a more secured environment. Okay, with that, let's summarize. ADS provides a unified approach to data, and then RedShift serverless can make your data warehouse usage very simple. You can very easily get started, and it is pay for use. So and then the pay for use is actually pay for use. That means if you are using for a minute and there are 20 queries running within that minute, you just pay for that minute. We have RPU. You do not have to pay for the 20 queries. Within that minute, you just pay for that minute. And then if you are using all 24 hours, then probably the cost will be higher than provision clusters, but it is not exorbitant. And as I demonstrated RedShift makes it easy to bring any kind of real-time data, whether it is coming from devices or sensors, coming from OLTP databases like Aurora MySQL, or if you are sending the data to S3. And then we integrate with all third-party partners by JDBC, ODBC, Spark, whatever you name it, or you can use RedShift's built-in query editor V2. You can use QuickSight or Tableau for visualizations. It integrates with SageMaker for training your model, or if you want to bring your SageMaker model and import it for, you can use it for predictive analytics from the real-time data. With that, do you guys have any questions?
Stop the provision storage for our servers.
Sorry?
Stop the provision storage for servers.
You do not have to do anything. So it's automatically, it charges, the price is by, storage and by compute. So if you are using, for example, let's say 30 terabyte of data, you get billed for the 30 terabyte data on a monthly basis. And then on the top of that, the amount of compute you are using, you will get charged for the compute.
So you're getting different features from the service and the non-service version?
Yeah, so the non-serverless provides a lot of knobs, and we eliminated a lot of knobs. But from the database feature perspective, or like for example integrating with like your IDP or integrating your third-party tools, those are all available. Yeah, the same. Yeah.
So
the
for
only
data
thing,
sharing?
sorry?
Data sharing?
Yeah, data sharing, you can even serverless can be a consumer or producer to a provision cluster too. So it works both ways.
No, I mean for data sharing, for the feature data sharing you're talking about, can we do that for non-service part? The non-service, for the non-service version, the RedShift, can it do the same function as the data sharing outside?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Okay.
exactly. You can, like if you want to share the data to a, let's say through AWS Data Exchange, the serverless can do that. And then the consumer can also be a serverless in the text.
What's the recommended way of real-time streaming from Postgres on RDS?
Sorry?
From Postgres on RDS?
Yeah.
What would be a recommended way for real-time streaming?
So zero ETL is going to come on Postgres. So zero ETL is not yet available for Postgres. It's only available for MySQL. It's being previewed, but I think it's going to come soon.
Postgre is not scalable, right?
No. What he's asking that they have their database in Postgres,
okay.
and then they want to bring in
It
data.
happened already.
Yeah,
Got it.
bring in data. So that feature is going to be previewed soon.
With that model, can you choose if it's supervised or unsupervised learning?
Yes. We support K-means clustering.
Reinforced learning?
Sorry?
Do you also do reinforced learning?
Not yet. Yeah.
That's more complex.
Yeah. I think for that, basically, we recommend people to use that in SageMaker, and use the BIOM, because that takes a lot of compute.
Right.
Yeah.
And with the business intelligence side in Power BI, how customizable can it be? Before you start needing an analyst, for example, Because I saw you were able to like do some visuals.
Yeah. So this is again, like for example, this is not a dashboarding tool. This is like, for example, lot of
Monitoring.
like what we hear from customers is that, let's say, data analysts and data scientists, they're running queries, okay, and they want to do some quick visualization. So what they do is that they export the data to CSV, take it to Excel, do the visualization, and then do that. So this kind of removes that friction. So you can do the visualization there and gain the insight. Even like, for example, export this as a PNG or JPEG and put it in PowerPoint or Word doc and share it.
Right.
So this is like not the
Reducing steps in a way.
yeah. Or if you already have a notebook, for example, and you want to do some visualization in there, right now, for example, you have to write some code if you are using IPython notebook. This kind of allows you to just do chart. Click on data and chart. So this is not a dashboarding. But if you are looking for dashboarding, then QuickSight, QuickSight is our tool, AWS QuickSight, that even has generative BI support. That means you don't have to write SQL, or the code. You can just say, build this chart for me in English. All right. So with that, we'll conclude this session. Thanks very much for your attention. All right.